These are gingerbread waffles. Have you ever had a gingerbread waffle? I had never seen a gingerbread waffle. So when Krusty's sent me this mix for gingerbread bakery style cookie mix, I was trying to think of something that is almost like an underused piece of equipment in my house. Yes, we make a lot of waffles. We freeze a lot of waffles, but I just loved the idea of gingerbread waffles just because they smell so good. So for this, I've got a waffle iron that I've already sprayed, but I think I'm going to spray it one more time just because I think it's important to always make sure that you grease it well. So I've got my Krusty's mix. Oh, it's beeping. At least that tells me that it's ready to go. Okay, so I think it's giving me the prompt that I need to hurry up. Okay, so I'm going to use the spray. You could also use butter. You could use butter, oil, any kind of thing that you would use to grease. Okay, and then I've got my Krusty's mix here. I mean, gingerbread. Gee, man, I'm kind of that girl that would be happy if I had gingerbread 365 days a year. I love gingerbread. I love all those spices, the allspice, the ginger, the cinnamon, yummy, nutmeg. Okay, so I'm gonna, what's happening over there? Someone's causing trouble in my kitchen. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour the mix right in. All right. So this is the fun part about being in my kitchen. I know where everything is. Okay, and then I'm gonna just break this up a little bit. I've got a half a cup of water. I've got some oil, and you want to use a neutral flavored oil for this. 1/4 cup of the oil. Okay, start getting that all moved together. I don't even want to tell you my kid's face the first time that I made these. There were oohs and ahs. There was a lot of excitement. Both of them love gingerbread, so anything in a waffle is good. Large eggs, don't forget, large eggs, very important. Because extra large eggs have a lot more egg and medium eggs have less. So large eggs, note to self. So 2 eggs. And you can even use your spatula to just sort of whisk it up. You could use a whisk for this, or just break your egg yolk like this, kind of whisk the mixture up. Get those muscles in there. Get the kids in the kitchen. Why should you be doing this when the kids can be whisking it up, working on their muscles? Okay, and this beautiful, ribbony batter. I love this. This is my favorite part of the holidays, when you're just getting those smells. I can already smell this, even before I smell how aromatic it is coming out of the waffle iron. Okay, and then I've got a half a cup measure. Every waffle iron's different. This one is a little bit bigger, but it's somewhere between a 1/4 cup and a half a cup each. Just gonna pour it right on. And when you're filling a waffle iron, you don't wanna overfill it. That's really important. So, make a few. You'll start to understand your waffle iron and how to gauge it. But this is a pretty good amount, I would say. And this recipe makes about 12 waffles, give or take the size. Ooh, that was hot. And this is a job I would say that you want to do by yourself. You don't necessarily want the kids next to the hot waffle iron. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just gonna pop that in, just like that. Because I have the time, I'm gonna move some of these goodies out of the way, and look at these beauties. These have cooled a little bit, because I'm going to show you one of 2 things that you can do. Let me move my mix. Always try to stay organized in the kitchen. I think it's the hardest thing to do. Okay. Look how gorgeous these are. Now, at this point, usually we'll eat for breakfast 4, 5, sometimes 6. During the week, if I make these gingerbread waffles, what I'll do right before I head out the door to go to take the kids to school is I'm gonna lay them on a sheet tray and then put them into zipper bags. And I'll write gingerbread waffles, and I'll write what the date is. And if you put them in zipper bags, you can freeze them so that during the week when you're like, I'm busy and I don't have time to make breakfast, or it's a lazy weekend morning, just pop them in your toaster for about 1 or 2 minutes just till they heat through, and I promise you they're good as new. Frozen waffles, that's such a great tip. You don't need to buy frozen waffles in the frozen foods section. You just make your fresh ones and you freeze them on your own. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to take one like this. In here I have whipped cream cheese, and I'm going to take some honey, and you're going to add, this is all really for your taste. Everyone does it a little bit different. I do about 2 tablespoons because what we're just trying to do is lightly sweeten this. Now, if you wanted to add like a 1/4 cup of honey, you could make this a true drizzle. Oh, listen to that. I love a beeper. It helps me. I'm the person that's always moving around the kitchen a million miles an hour and I forget. Oh my God, they're so gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna pop these out and I'm gonna go back to that in a second. Ooh. The one thing I should have told you about the batter that I made was sometimes I like to let it set for about 5 minutes because you're going to find that it thickens up a little bit. But as I said, these waffles come out perfect when you just pour the batter right in if you're short on time. But what also happens is you're going to see right here, they're a little bit soft. Ooh, and hot. Hot, hot, hot. But if you just pull it right out like this, they're soft, but watch this. They totally crisp up if you just let them cool on a rack like this. And why the rack instead of like a cutting board? Because you want to make sure that that air is circulating around them to cool them, and that's what's going to give them that crispy texture. If you put them on a cutting board after they came out of the waffle iron, that one edge that was sitting on the cutting board would get a little bit too soft. So I like to just pop these out. Now, what is great and so versatile, beyond what the directions on the package of the gingerbread mix, turning them into these gingerbread waffles or pancakes, is what happens to them next. If you were just going to serve them like this, you could use a little bit more honey, the whipped cream cheese, or you could just drizzle them with maple syrup, or just drizzle them with honey. You could top them with fruit. You could do as my kids did and just literally walked out the door eating them like this, like a big piece of gingerbread. But what I like to do is just do the whipped cream cheese with about 2 tablespoons of honey. My family likes this because it's just not too sweet. You're gonna get the protein from the cream cheese, so it makes it a little bit more balanced that you have the carbohydrate, and now you've also got the cream cheese for your protein. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more just to loosen it up just a little bit. You could also use a regular brick of cream cheese. You don't have to use whipped, but the whipped really does make it that much easier. And then what we do, let me grab a serrated knife. So I want to show you, like the magic. Hold on, I'm going over here to grab a serrated knife. Aha, okay. I've got my serrated knife, and watch what I'm going to do. These I put into my kids' school lunch all the time. Because you know those days that you forget bread? You're like, I didn't get bread at the grocery store. What was I thinking? That's why I like to make sure that when I make waffles and pancakes, I always freeze them, because then I have this that's ready in the freezer. Just pop it in the toaster for a minute or 2, and then I like to just spread it with a little bit of that whipped cream cheese mixture. And let me tell you, you're gonna have some happy kids and empty lunch boxes, happy husband, when you make waffle sandwiches. Boom. That is big time. That's holiday gone bonanza. Bonkers. So waffle sandwiches. Or like I said, you could put these on a beautiful platter, let everyone grab their waffles, and then drizzle it with maple syrup, pomegranate seeds. That sounds like really beautiful and crisp, very holiday time, and just add that red color to really just beautifully brighten it up a lot. So that's a good